Hello, everyone. I'm Dilshana Parul and welcome you all to our almost regular podcast, Nuraldeen. And who you people already know and who doesn't know about Nuraldeen, just one line about that thing. Nuraldeen is a podcast completely run by our diaspora Bangladeshi community for the global community who really get to know the political aspects and political landscape of Bangladesh. So here we go. I'm here, Dilshana Parul. We also have Jyoti Rahman with us and also have Shafiqur Rahman with us. And today we are going to have discussion regarding as usual, the regular political arena and the political question of Bangladesh context at this moment. But before starting our formal program, let me just pay my respect and my gratitude to the martyr who have died in our July uprising. So till now, the death countdown goes to 2,000 martyr youth and the teenager we had in July uprising. I really pay my gratitude and my respect to them and to their family. Let's start the program now. I may want to start with Jyoti Bhai, with you, that we have already passed 5 months from the July and the interim government is running and ruling. Let me put the running the government rather than the ruling, because I don't really like the ruling, though Sheikh Hasina was completely ruling the country and the politics. So what is your takeaway from the last 5 months, Jyoti Bhai, Jim? What were the most challenges that UNIS government has faced, and what shouldn't be that could be avoided? Also, what were not in their hand in terms of everything, the achievement and challenge? And it is, let me put in a very simple sentence. What were the challenges and the achievement you have seen from last 5 months from UNIS government? Jyoti Bhai.
Thank you, Dilshana. And let me just again echo the debt of gratitude we have to all the shaheeds, all the martyrs. Today is 5th of January. We're recording it on the 5th of January. By the time the viewers, it gets to the viewers, it may be a couple of days later because of, recording, editing and all of that. But yes, exactly 5 months. What were the challenges? How do we see last 5 months and so on? If I were to summarize it, I would probably say, and this is probably not the mainstream view, I would say, but my sense is that things have actually gone better than what could have been reasonably expected in the morning of 5th of August in Dhaka. So if we go back, if we just sort of harken back to that morning or that afternoon in Dhaka, what was happening? What was happening, as far as we know, we lived through this, although none of us were in Dhaka, but this all happened, sort of in front of our eyes through camera and so on, right? That even that morning, Sheikh Hasina was saying that she was ordering her troops, ordering the police, ordering the army to kill as many people as needed to crash the uprising, right? So that was on 5th of August, that was the starting point. And that day ended with Hasina flying away from the airport, from Bangladesh. This has never happened in our history. We have had governments come and governments go, including dictators fall. But running away from the country, that had never happened. We lost our entire police force. We lost civil administration. We lost, because for 15 years, Hasina had, partisanized, politicized everything to such an extent that with her, when she left, everything else also fell, right? The Bangladesh Bank governor and government officials from different positions ran away, okay? Even in 1971, this didn't happen. In 1971, when on 16th of December, Pakistan Army surrendered, on 17th of December, government officials across the country went and reported to the Indian officials, to the Mukti Bahini commanders, local politicians that, we are public servants. We work for Pakistan government. Now we are here to serve Bangladesh government. Even in 1971, that was the case. Not on 6th of August. On 6th of August, we all know that there wasn't any government. But what we also don't often appreciate, it's not just like that there wasn't any government in that, there wasn't any prime minister or there wasn't any minister. That was, we all know that. It was also the case that on 6th of August, there wasn't any government machinery. There wasn't any civil servants anywhere. There wasn't any magistrate. There wasn't any police. So if you think about that kind of situation, Awami League used to say that if something happens to us, as in them, hundreds of thousands of people would be killed. Obaidul Kader, the former Secretary General of Awami League, technically still the Secretary General of Awami League, said that 500,000 people would be killed. That's what they used to say. And, in reality, we probably did not even have 50 Awami League leaders killed in reprisal. Okay?
So 50 is a quite high number. It's
probably not even that. I'm just saying that, the reprisal killing after Awami League government fell, after Hasina fled, the reprisal.
We even recorded 3.
Sorry?
Did we even recorded 3 or 5 deaths? No.
I think so. On the police, there were 44 police were recorded as killed.
Yeah, that was
during the whole uprising. So it wasn't just reprisal; it was all.
That was the whole uprising, the shooting, and at that time. But if you identify after 5th of August, no, most probably 1 or 2. That's not even that. I'm not sure. I don't have.
Probably not even that.
Yeah.
Dhaka is a city of 20 million people, right? So a city of 20 million people without any feasible law enforcement for days, multiple days until the army came back.
3 days. Complete 3 days. There wasn't any, basically 3 days there wasn't any government, and 18 days there wasn't any police force.
That's right. And in a city of 20 million people, just imagine anywhere else in the world, 20 million people living in a densely populated city, right? Without any feasible law enforcement machinery, and yet life went on. Life goes on in Dhaka. So I would say the biggest challenge were actually just recreate recreate stability, just so that people can go back to work, people can go back to school, people can run their daily lives, right? This was the single biggest challenge, and I would say it's remarkable that this has been achieved. We don't often talk about this. We talk about lot of other things such as Indian propaganda. We talk about trial of Awami League. We talk about constitutional reform. These are all very good, very valid, very important, elections. All of these things are very important. But if I bring it back to the very starting point, if you had told me on 5th of August that, okay, this is the situation. You don't know anything about Bangladesh, but you were just told that a city of 20 million people and there is no law enforcement. Okay? All of that is gone. All the government officials are gone. The starting point would be that, okay, we probably would have shooting, we probably would have gang warfare, we would probably have violence, we would probably have, things like that. People's lives would be at risk, women would be raped, those kind of things. Okay? None of those happened. Bangladesh is functioning daily life in Bangladesh, daily, day to day. People are going on with their lives. I think that if we think about it from an objective historical context, if we look at what happens in other countries, if we look at what happened in our own country in the past, last 5 months, from that perspective, that is one thing that has been achieved. It's a peaceful country. It's by and large, it's a peaceful country. Okay, I would stop there. There are probably many other things we can talk about, but let me stop there.
Yeah, but you bring up a really very interesting point. That means the social format, like I could remember if 1 or 2 hour electricity had been gone in the New York City, basically what the situation they had to face. And we saw it a couple of times, and then there was a news headline, how many shop was vandalized, how many shop was robbed. But 18 days, there wasn't any law enforcement. 3 days, there wasn't any kind of functional government, not functional, any kind of government structure on there. None of a single shop was vandalized or robbed in Dhaka city. That's really very interesting point you brought up. Shafiq bhai, if I go to you, but I really I want to specify one on government, Dr. Yunus government. That okay, what do you think? What were the not? I'm not gonna put as a failure because this is only 5 months, but still that we were expected those area would be addressed, but it looks like that nah, they have their own limitations on those specific areas. What do you think about the limitations or not doing enough? Which area you will bring up?
Um, yeah, so yeah, there's like when you talk about like failures of like interim government, like throughout like among Bangladeshis, you will find that there's like almost every hand would go up. Like everybody has got an opinion. Everybody is saying a lot of things because after 5 months, like that type of talk is like everywhere. But yeah, there are some areas of brilliant success. For example, the economy. General overall, the economic direction has gone much better than expected. Like for example, we are seeing that the remittance figure is good, and that doesn't have much to do with the domestic government, but the garments export is also remarkably going up, and that was a very big area of concern because garments export depend upon a lot of domestic factors like labor relations, road communications, and a lot of other factors. So garments exports going up month by month after 5 months, it means that a lot of things are actually going well. And we have been hearing reports that that Bangladesh garment sector is facing collapse. Everybody is saying that after Hasina fall, like this will be gone, but that's not happening. We have heard of like a few big unrest events, but all of those events, like every time some of these happens, everybody says that okay, this is very bad. But after a few days, those die down. So we are not exactly hearing. Government is like one of the failures of this government is like that it's not exactly expert in trumpeting its own success. Like how it's achieving its success, they are not even capable of doing that. But something is going well. How they are managing labor relations, how the factories are doing well. That's a very big area of success. Our fiscal balance, overall macroeconomic management, that seems to be going in the right direction. Jyoti would of course know much better than me on that. um, about the social direction, like you hear that there's like a law and order situation is not so well still, and that's one reason. One reason could be that the police are not yet active in their full force. So that area, like about failures, I would say that the Yunus government main failure was that right at the beginning, it probably had underestimated the enormity of the task before it. It said that it's a kind of reformist, revolutionary sort of government that has come to change Bangladesh. But if you want to change Bangladesh, then first thing as you said that okay, what are you going to change Bangladesh with? Where is your army? Where is your force? It began. My main criticism of Yunus government is that it started small and gradually it expanded. Like they brought a very small government upon the existing Army League built structure and Army League staffed people and expected things to change. Like that probably was like a very pipe dream from the early on. What were you thinking? For example, all these, because one of the big things that we will probably talk about in future is about the financial and other crimes of Hasina regime. All the hundreds and thousands of big people they did. So this requires a very big investigative force, and we know that how important is this because one of the big way that Hasina government is made to look bad in the world outside, and we can reveal their nature is by revealing their financial crimes. So we need to get the exact information, accurate information, accurate allegations, investigate those, and bring it out to the people, to the world. But I don't know that whether they have acquired a lot of people, get new stuff in those investigative forces. I think that probably most of the staff, those who are in Dudok and other forces, those who are working before, they're still working at those. So, but this is not a good way to investigate such a huge financial crime of Hasina regime, which has almost no precedence in Bangladesh history. For example, like sometimes information that leaks out about the Rukpur power plant $5 billion allegation that became an international news. But we know that not much information has been revealed since the early on, but those allegations only, because $5 billion is an enormous sum, even in like a American or European perspective. It's very hard to digest or through informal channel to corruption to $5 billion. So how exactly Bangladesh came up with this figure? So and since they popularized it to the outside world, it seemed that this investigative section is not doing very well. Um, so this is one of my primary allegation is that they brought a very little army to do a very big task. They should have started getting a big army right from the beginning, and that would have alleviated much more of the problems that we see now.
Yes, I'm completely agree with you, Shafi. Right? It's true. It looks like that the 17 or 19 at this moment, the advisors, and that huge momentum task that they really need to do. And specifically, I really want to agree and bring the conversation on the plate about the investigation of everything, not only the financial side. Definitely, that was a huge issues in regarding in Bangladesh money laundering and other stuffs. And Dudok itself, the body of Dudok itself was, the controversy and the allegation of what do you call? I want to put crime. Yeah, the allegation of that thing also, the money laundering, other stuff is also these institutions, the claiming, all this conversation is there at the same point. And if I want to bring that justice for July, now at this moment, who is doing the investigation? Again, the same police force who were involved with the mass killing, the same police force is doing the investigation. So what is the government strategy on there? We don't know. That's true. The word that Shafiq Bhai and bring up, that we don't know so many things. I think that not knowing the know-how is the main fundamental part of this government's limitations or challenges, that they are just not able to focus or bring up in front of the people, hey, this is the area that we are doing. This is the area. This is our failure. This is our achievement. Make it clear and cut. That's true that in the economical financial sides, especially in terms of Bangladeshi micro loan, macro and macro level, and the achievement of financial economic side, they have a huge momentous achievement. Even within these 5 months, we didn't even expect that. But did they marketing their achievement properly? You were quite right. And again, I'm agreeing with you, Shafiq Bhai, in the terms of, okay, in the sector of investigation, not only the financial investigation, on the murder investigation, if you put the responsibility of the same organization, they themselves were just have that controversy, can they do that? Or ethically or legally, can we do that without the reformation of those sectors? Yes, Jyoti Bhai, you want to add something?
Yes, sorry, didn't mean to cut in, but no, you finish first and I was just adding something.
No, I finished. I'm just going to you. Yeah.
Okay. Just to pick up on something both of you said, but give it a somewhat different twist. Okay. So we talked about justice for July, and we also want to make sure that manifold crimes of Hasina regime, not just the massacres, killings, 2,000 people in July, but also 15 years of plundering the country. We want justice for all of those things. Agree. We also know that these things are very difficult. You both said, how can you ask these very people who are corrupt, the very corrupt judiciary, very corrupt police, compromised police, partisan police, they cannot investigate themselves, Okay. And reforming the police apparatus, reforming the judiciary is going to take time. We also know all of those things. So in 5 months, the government, even if they had, instead of 17, even if they had 30 advisors, I don't know if that would have made all of those practical differences, because, how are you going to get rid of all the judges that you already have, all the magistrates that you already have, and all of that, that takes time. The thing that the government should have done, and it's not just the government, all of us in social media, in mainstream media, in political activism, all the pro-democracy forces. So this is all of us. The thing that could have been done, should have been done, and I'm afraid hasn't been done, is to remind everyone again and again what Hasina stood for and what she did. The July massacres and the 15 years of plundering before that, all the human rights abuses over the years, all the various crimes, including 3 rigged elections, all of these things, the government has not been able to. We will talk about marketing its own achievement. That is one side of it. Government has, I think, collectively has not been able to remind people or keep the horrors of Hasina fresh in public domain. But it's not just the government's fault. It's also collectively all of us. We have ended up collectively, not just few of us, but collectively, the public narrative, public discourse has gone into identity issues that we said that, okay, we're not going to focus on that during July. We have gone back to fighting identity issues. We have gone back to fighting cultural issues. We have gone back to politics is politics. I understand that. There is nobody's saying that put politics aside. Partisan politics is fine. That's what democracy is all about. But when we have done that, we have done it at the expense of, basically, we have allowed Hasina to be forgotten. And we have talked about other things, as important as those things are. Many of those things are very important. It's important to talk about those things. It's important to, partisan politics is, democracy is that. I absolutely agree. But yeah, so what I'm afraid is
it sounds like that you are more balancing your entire conversation. You want to say more. Please be frank and free. It doesn't matter whoever angry with our conversation. If it is true, we have to tell the truth. Yeah. We have to tell the truth. Like, I want to disturb you in here, interrupt you in here, because I'm not ready with the conversation, that public discourse. You are 100% right. Among the public discourse, among the public sphere, especially on the online and other stuffs, it looks like the justice for July and the crime of Sheikh Hasina regime and the oppression of Sheikh Hasina regime almost has gone. But I'm just not ready to take that the responsibility of this is the responsibility of the mass people, because we are the people who create the political narrative, or we created the political narrative on the political discourse among the political people and the platform. Now the question is, who are we? Who are we, and why we are creating or bringing up this identity politics in the name of the politics, party politics? Why we are focusing completely on the party politics and not, how do I put it? It's like the vice versa situation, right?
Well, it should be, in my opinion, it should be both. That's we should be able to do partisan politics. We should be able to do, whatever our politics is, identity, class, economics, whatever is our politics. We should be able to do that, as well as keep reminding everyone that, look, this is what Hasina did. All right.
Or
and then it's definitely on us, in the sense that people who make opinion, people who make discourse, not the mass people. Mass people have their lives to lead. They have to, exactly. Go to work, they have to feed their children, they have to go to school, they have to do daily life, so it's not on them, it's on us.
We are the people who creates this public discourse. If I put it like that okay, it might sound the conspiracy theory, but if I put it like that, if this is the intention, if that's the objective, that we are bringing this identical politics in front, we are bringing this so-called, not so-called, that 54 years old, that narrative of Jamaat Islami or other stuffs, the what do you call, the war criminal justice or ICC, all other stuff that we have almost solved in 2013, then again bringing up those conversation in the politics to gain the political profit of each other party, Jamaat, PMP, everyone is just looking on to their party politics. But underneath, what is the objective? Why are we bringing these things? It's only for the sake of party benefit? No, I don't think so. I'm just not agreeing with you people. This is only for the sake of party politics because, as per my understanding, especially after this July, Bangladesh party is completely split in two parts. One part is elite establishment, second part is mass people. So now the question is, who are these upholder of this elite establishment? Awami League people are in there, Jamaat Islami in there, BNP in there. You know the interesting conversation nowadays we are having, like in the regular Bangladeshi family, you will find one brother is Jamaat Islami, one sister is BNP, and maybe the father or mother is Awami League, right? That's the family formation, political formation of Bangladeshi family. That's a regular family. If that's the true thing, that's exactly also true in the elite establishment. So elite people, this Jamaat, BNP, Awami League, to me, even including the left, all these elite people are almost their close ally. They are in their close touch and close tie. So if someone is in trouble, the other party, other leader is going there and backing that person. And that is exactly what is happening. To me, this is very intentional. Why I wouldn't put it that this is intentional to hide the crime of Sheikh Hasina, to hide the crime of Hasina regime, because Awami League itself was the strongest part of this elite establishment. So now the other pocket of the elite establishment really want to save that big chunk of this elite establishment. To me, that's political narrative is like that. Shafiq bhai, I want to go to you. If you want to counter me or put your, if you want to disagree with me.
No, I disagree. I agree with you. I would say more than half that, yeah, this type of politics is mostly elite politics. But unlike you, I wouldn't discount the intra-elite fight, because you see the example before all of them is that how Awami League monopolized the elite and ate up all the creams of the country. What kind of like exclusive uh, totally what would you say, like almost like the British Raj like life that used to lead in India, because Indian colony, they used to lead the life of that, like power, privilege, and everything. So that life is an example before all the other elites. So BNP elites, Jamaat elites, all are aspiring to that. Like I would put like very much materialistic like that. And so whenever they see the chance, like these are all like playing games. Like they see some BNP is saying that election is the vehicle to to reach that, like that, not maybe not like Awami League, but even like a position of power and privilege. Jamaat may be saying that like we need a little bit more time, like more consolidation, more party consolidation. So they are having a different politics, and other people, and so this type of politics is there because we are like by human, we are seldom motivated by larger cause, like selfless causes. Sometimes selfless causes come up, then people unite, like it happened in 1971, it happened in July, like all Bangladesh united because they felt that it's time to let Hasina go. So like these bigger causes, whenever these bigger causes little bit disappear or faded into a little bit background, all our base instincts come up. So it's like that after 5th of July, all those short-term gains came up, and everybody is looking for the calculating what would benefit me, my party, my side more. So that's why this type of all this going on, identity politics, election, reform, student party, all this is a part of game. But in Ukraine, like I was listening to a lecture by Mustaq Khan just yesterday, and I forwarded it to Jyoti. He's one of the most brilliant thinker, like in political economy that I regard, and Jyoti regards him too. He was saying that at this time we don't need like a more than election, more than reform, we need unity, oiko, the unity that we had in like during July. And he's not saying that's for just a vague term that we need unity. Calling for unity is a vague thing. You can call for unity anytime. He's saying that we need unity for a specific purpose to punish the Hasina regime, punish particularly the financial crime, the big financial crime. He says that all our efforts of reform and other things will fail if we cannot punish those big wigs, the big crimes, because they would set up an example for the next batch of elites, the next batch of like powerful people, that no, you cannot get away with all these things. So unless like this type of unity or oikomot for punishing those big crimes in like murders, gooms, disappearance, and looting of these billions of dollars, if we cannot unite on that, like all our efforts of like a reform, election, all these will fail because institutions only exist in people's head. People, we have seen, his point was clear that all those rules that you make, if people have power, if they can flout the rules as easily as Hasina did, then what does these rules matter? Nothing will matter. So only thing will matter that our example, like what has happened in the past. So unless we punish those few people, few alleged their crimes, maybe yeah, a lot of them has fled the country. So we won't be actually punish them physically, but we can able to punish them by reputationally, by their by appropriation of their asset, all their asset in Bangladesh. That should have been appropriated and other things. So unless we can punish them, like then our efforts of reform will fail. So I think it's a very valid point. I know. We hope to talk with him further on that, like how to actually make progress on that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Shafiq Bhai. Yeah, it looks like that not more than half. You almost agreed with me. Yeah, Jyoti Bhai, I want to go to you. Like, do you want to add something? Maybe you want to add something very specifically. Okay, this is a position of BNP. This is a position of Jamaat, and how this all fighting among those two, three parties is bringing up or making everyone confused, or whatever take of you, whatever, yeah, what are you taking from this conversation, Jyoti Bhai?
Sure. Okay. Okay. So let me make 2 points. Okay. So one is taking credit. Okay. So we know the adage that success has many fathers, or many, it's sexist, many fathers, many parents. Failure has none. If the July uprising had failed, or when July uprising actually began, right? Nobody wanted to take credit for it because the expectation was that it would fail. Because, Hasina has seen things like this before. There were the previous quota movements, safe street movement, sort of other localized things. And, Hasina had mastered the dark art of diffusing these things. She would try the carrot, bring people in to Gano Bhavan and become their mother. Mother of this, mother of that. And if that didn't work, then she would just basically, disappear. We would be enforced disappearance, boom. Nobody would even hear from, right? So on first week of July, even until like say 13th of July, the expectation was that this quota movement probably would end that way too. So nobody, none of the political parties, BNP, Jamaat, even the students themselves were very much that this is this is not a political thing, it's a very specific thing, and so on, right? And so Hasnat Abdullah, one of the student leaders, actually characterized the whole thing as this is what we mean by Mujibist fascism. What is Mujibist fascism? What was Mujibism? What was wrong with that? That even if you have a legitimate demand, even if your specific legitimate demand, not the fall of government, not the whole systemic thing, very specific thing, you had to pay respect to Mujib. You had to say, Bangabandhu this, Bangabandhu that. There is, you have to appeal to all of that. Then you have to appeal to the mother of everything. Then you can talk about your specific demand. So this is what it was. But now that Hasina is gone, everyone wants to have their, that we did this, because it's a success. Success has many fathers, all right, many parents. Everyone wants to be the, the parent of the success. So I think a lot of this is what we're seeing exactly in that. And it is true that it started from the specific quota movement. Then there was a spontaneous uprising in Dhaka University, in Jahangirnagar University, public universities rejecting Hasina's identity politics, Rajakat taunt, and all of those things. Then there was police brutality. And then there were private university students, there were madrasa students, further police brutality, ordinary people came in, sort of all political parties, both BNP, Jamaat, left, all of them were there, retired army officers were there, family people, housewives, children, everyone, everyone had their participation. Those of us overseas, abroad, sort of whether we used to be, writing or YouTube or remittance boycott, all of those things. So it was a popular participation, but now that we have won, organizations, political organizations, of course, want to establish their stake in the victory. It is kind of like the Second World War, where sort of the Soviet Union and Britain and US each had their own politics, each had their own power, each had their own ideology, and they all united to fight the Nazis. But when the war was won, from the Americans, it was all, we were the arsenal of democracy, without our nuclear weapon, the war would not have been won. We did everything. And from the British, the angle was that, look, we survived Battle of Britain, Churchill, the rhetoric, all of that. From the Soviet side, it was, it was hand-to-hand fighting in Stalingrad and the Russian Red Army that broke. All of this is true. Each of those is, none of that is false. They were all true. And then they each tried to claim that we alone did this. Well, okay, that's, there is trying to take credit. I see a lot of the posturing by BNP, by Jamaat, by the student leaders as our version of the same thing, that if any of them were absent, the revolution probably would not have played, uprising probably would not have played out the way it did. So they were all integral. When they say that we did XYZ, they're not lying, they are taking credit. When they say that, we alone did it, when they try to do that, they are now like looking for the election and they're trying to gain their upper hand and all of those things. So that's how I would see it. And in a sense, it's healthy because that basically means that, there's still that spirit of July. You only want to take credit for something that you believe in. If you didn't believe in this, then we would probably not try to take credit. So that would be the positive way of looking at it. But, so that's one thing. A different thing I wanted to talk about, if I could. So, elite settlement or elite consensus. So there is a literature around Bangladesh. So, Mushtaq Khan and Naomi Hussain and many others had written about it, which was that the elite consensus coming out of the 70s, the 1974 famine, was a pivotal point about developing elite consensus, because when that famine happened, and after that famine, Bakshal and Sheikh Mujib's fall, massacre of his entire family, the military coups and counter coups, state breakdown. So there was an elite consensus built around that time that we can never have a situation like that. Whatever else happens, we must avoid another famine. So a lot of grassroots development that we had seen in Bangladesh over the years reflect that elite consensus that, okay, whatever plunder, whatever political games we play at the elite level, we have to make sure that there is never again another famine. Because, when famine happens, people die of starvation, everything else collapses. So I wonder, it's too early to tell, but I wonder the extent of the massacre in July was so brutal. 2,000 people killed. This is order of magnitude different from anything else.
And in only 21 days.
In only 21 days. Helicopters shooting from the air in Dhaka, right? In places in Uttara, places in Badda, these are, in places in Mirpur, these are affluent upper middle class suburb, right? So this was unprecedented. I wonder if this will have a similar effect in the elite, elite consciousness, in elite settlement, elite, political narrative, whatever we want to call this, right? As the 74, 75 events did. That doesn't mean that, elite is going to become any less greedy. They won't. I mean, all the fundamentals of political economy and society and sociology, all of those things are still there. However, I wonder if there would be some view that, okay, no matter what we do, no matter whatever competition we have, no matter whatever games we play, schemes we had over the years, okay, we need to make sure that we never again come into a situation where another July 2024 happens. I wonder. It's too early to tell, but I just pausing it there.
Yeah, like bringing up or coming up with that decision that let's do something so that another July don't happen. This consensus also has its own ground. I mean, throughout a process, we need to be in there, right? So I don't think that out of nowhere, a bunch of the people who were looking for their benefit, even now at this moment, if they are really looking for that, even frankly speaking, I don't mind if some elites are being greedy and they want to have their benefit. I don't mind at this moment. When I mind that if you are really want to save the criminal on the sake of your greediness, just don't do that. Go for your greediness. I don't mind. Go for your self purpose or selfishness. I don't mind. Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you were doing, but don't do that in the cost of saving this criminal who were responsible for this July massacre. That's the most difficult part, I think. Bringing up those conversation again on the public platform, and bringing up those conversation on the public discourse, that area, that might be our responsibilities. I just want to add one line because about this uprising. That it's, to me, I'm again agree with you, Jyoti Bhai, that when people are claiming their portion of or their credit for participation on the July uprising, that means that, that if you can look at the scale of the people, everyone thinks that he or she did something on the July. That's the beauty of July uprising. I think everyone thinks that, yes, I did that thing. I did something. That means people really own July uprising. They really did something. That is the thing that we were calling collective effort, collective force, and organic force. That exactly the reason I was keep telling it is an organic process. It was an organic uprising and a collective force. These are the two takeaway from me from the July uprising. It was a collective effort and an organic force. Entire thing happened. That's true. Some part of the collective force might be organized, like if it's led by the student organization. That part was organized when the Badda, if BMP was on there, the Chhatrodal student part of the BMP, that part was organized. The other part, maybe Jamaat Islami Shibir was when there, that part might be organized, or the Dhaka University Center left uprising, that part might be organized. But if we take all this organized part and put it on single plate, then we can see that it's how much it was organic, how much it was the collective force. Anyway, to me, today's discussion was fascinating, fantastic. Hope to talk with you two again and maybe with other guests. And if you to allow me, I want to really end today's conversation. Do Shafiq Bhai or Jyoti Bhai want to add something or say goodbye to our listeners?
That's fine. Goodbye. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the very fascinating conversation.
Thank you for the conversation. And we'll keep talking because 2025 is going to be a momentous year. Not as momentous as 2024. I don't think anything in our lifetime would beat that. And I don't want anything else to beat that because that would mean another July. I don't want another July. None of us want another July. However, 2025 is a year for a fresh beginning. We hope to see democracy restored. We want to see constitutional reforms. We want to see, sort of a new Bangladesh actually taking shape. Not an interim Bangladesh, but a genuine new Bangladesh. So
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Jyoti Bhai. I just want to repeat whatever you told. That's true. Let us hope for a new Bangladesh with a constitutional reformation, with a structural reformation, with the hope that we are carrying with us, with the dream that we dreamed on July uprising. And let's not hope, seriously, we don't want any July coming up in front of us. And let's bring the people who were responsible for the Justice for July. Everyone, thank you so much for being with us till now. Bye. Take care yourself. Bye.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.